On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at count them, 1, 2, 3 new expressions from Tequila Ocho from their new limited edition barrel select expressions. We got the Continental, we've got the Tropical, and we've got the Transatlantic Anejo barrel selects right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at 3 expressions. Normally I just do 1, but today we're doing 3 special expressions from Tequila Ocho in one episode. They are the Continental, they are the Tropical, and last but not least, the Transatlantic. Now all of these are special edition, limited edition barrel select tequilas. I'm super excited to tell you guys about them. But first, if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you haven't seen any of the videos before, I pack a lot of information here about the brands, as well as provide some videos with some great information about tequilas and other spirits. If you're interested in learning more about these, make sure you click the subscribe button below and click the bell next to it so you can be notified every time I post one of these great informational videos, and we'd love to have you as part of the Tequila Hombre family. All right, so let's get on to our review and our information about this expressions from Tequila Ocho. I'm not going to get into how this tequila is made because I did so in a previous video. So if you'd like to see how this tequila is made, I'll post a link to the video right up here where you can see where I talk about the Blanco. High quality tequila here. Really accents the agave, which is great. But what I'm going to do now is we're going to go right into the tasting portion, and for each different expression, I'll tell you all the information about that expression right before we go into tasting it. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get into taking a look at these tequilas. All right, so the first expression we're going to talk about is the Continental. But first, these expressions are actually a collaboration between master distiller Alexandre Gabriel and a gentleman named Maison Ferrand. They got together and developed how they were going to make these expressions, the aging and what they're going to do. And they selected barrels that normally held different liquors, aged different liquors for each of these different expressions. So for the Continental, the one that we'll do first, it is 43.1% alcohol by volume. And it was aged in cognac barrels that were from the southwestern part of France. They're aged for 1 year in these barrels and are supposed to impart some really amazing flavors. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting portion next. All right, as usual, I'll be using the agave glass from Denver and Liley. I've been using it in all of my recent videos. We'll go ahead and pop the top off. It's got natural cork as the cork for this. And then let's go ahead and pour some here. I am so excited. This is going to be so good. Anything that comes out of La Hautania normally is excellent. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go up and see what this looks like in the glass. All right, taking a look at this in the glass. It's got nice legs and tears coming down the glass. It coats the glass nicely. Looking at the tequila, it is a light straw colored and crystal clear. Looks good so far. Let's see what we get on the nose on this. Definitely picking up the baking spices and the cinnamon from the cooked agave. It's got a hint of vanilla and caramel coming through on it. And a little light fruitiness. It smells good. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Buttery, oily mouthfeel on it. Coats the mouth nicely. This one starts out a little different, where I'm getting kind of like a bittersweet chocolate start on it. And then you get some anise that kind of follows that. Anise bitterness, like the black licorice bitterness. And then it rolls into a nice baking spices and cooked agave flavor profile, which is different. Normally, I like to see that come up on the front, but this is weird in that it's coming after a few other flavors. Then it has a nice tropical fruitiness that comes through on it with some vanilla mixed in, a little sweetness, and then a honey-esque kind of sweetness that sits on the tongue on the finish. And I would give this a medium long to long finish because it's still there. And it says, hey, I love you. Take another sip, please. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. There's a lot going on in this glass. I like it a lot. It's very complex, and I love a good añejo that gives you lots of different flavors in it. And this one definitely delivers on that. So this one's a winner. Let's not waste any more time. Let's check out the next expression. All right, so I really like that first expression. Now the key is gonna try to be to get through all three expressions without getting too tanked before the last expression is done. I have a tendency of doing a little heavy pour on my pours, if you haven't noticed. All right, so our next expression is the tropical expression. This is aged in rum barrels from both the South Pacific and the Caribbean for 1 year. So it should impart some interesting flavors on it. Let's not waste any more time. I'm anxious to try it, so let's get into the tasting portion next. All right, going up top to the pour cam for the tropical expression. I am again using the Denver and Lively glass, which has been cleaned, sanitized, and sterilized, and ready to go for the next expression. So we'll go ahead and pour some. All right, do you guys need to see any more? I don't think so. Let's get into see what this looks like in the glass. All right, taking a look at this one in the glass. Coats the glass really nicely. Starting to see some legs and tears form on it. So that is a good sign. That's gonna have a, look at, there you go. It's gonna have a viscous mouthfeel to it. Those are some sexy legs on that. Looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear. Has a nice light yellow hue, kind of straw yellowish look to it. All right, let's see what we get on the nose on this. Definitely picking up the baking spices and the cooked agave coming through. It has a dark, sweet fruit kind of nose to it. So I'm picking up some stuff like cherry and plum coming through. With hints of vanilla in there as well. It smells good, all right? So let's see what it tastes like. Coats the mouth nicely. A little bit of burn on the front, not too bad. Picking up some bitterness, like dark chocolate bitterness on the front. Then it gets into the cooked agave, cinnamon baking spices there. Picking up a little bit of fruitiness, like dark, like cherries coming through, like not maraschino, not as sweet as maraschino, but the other kind of cherries that they have. I forgot the Bing cherries. The kind you buy in the big box at Costco. It has that kind of flavor coming through on them. A little bit of plum as well. It finishes with a light sweetness on the tongue as well. This one's good. It's also good. It's not as complex as the first one, but it's good. I like it. So there you go. 2 of them so far. Both of them are really good. I definitely would sip on this one. Mix it? Oh, hell no. I wouldn't waste this mixing on it. This is something I'm going to sip on, maybe with a cigar, and just enjoy all the wonderful flavors that are coming through. I sound like Ina Garten now from the Food Network. All the wonderful flavors. But there are some great flavors coming through. So I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to finish this one, and then we'll get on to the third expression next. All right, the first 2 expressions I liked a lot. I am really impressed so far. So now we're on to the third expression and last expression, but not least expression. So you're probably wondering, well, what did they age this one in, hombre? Well, here's what they did. They took the cognac and they took the rum and they put tequila in both of them and they blended them together. And it comes in at 44.2% alcohol and they aged them for a year. So this is a blend of the rum and the cognac together. I'm really excited. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting portion next. All right, back up top to the pour cam again using a Denver and Lightly glass. This one's been sanitized and sterilized for the optimum drinking conditions. I have cleaned my palate as well. So we are going on to the third expression from this batch. It is the Transatlantic. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this in the glass. All right, you guys seen enough? Let's go up and see what it looks like in the glass. All right, taking a look at this one in the glass. But first, a little public service announcement. We do not condone excessive drinking on this channel at all. I am a highly trained professional, so do not try this at home, okay? All right, so let's get into what it looks like in the glass. It coats the glass really nicely. Look at all the legs and tears coming down on this. More legs than a ZZ Top music video. It looks great. Looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear. It has kind of a yellow straw, like light straw hue to it. It looks great. All right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. I'm definitely picking up the cooked agave and the baking spices coming through from the cinnamon and baking spices from the cooked agave. Has an interesting fruitiness to it, like tropical fruit, like bananas and papayas. And a little hint of vanilla coming through as well. It smells good on the nose. Has a little bit of a burn too from the alcohol, but not too bad. Let's see what we get on the palate. Coats the mouth wonderfully, just like I suspected it would from looking at the glass. Getting a little bit of bitterness on the front, like bitter sweet chocolate. Then it rolls into the beautiful baking spices and the cooked agave. Has a nice fruitiness to it, like tropical fruits, like banana coming through, a little mango. Then it comes some vanilla coming through from the barrel, of course. And it finishes with a sweetness. Now, all of these so far have had a really good finish on them, where there's a little heat that comes through, and it just pushes the flavors on your tongue all the way through to the end. And it says to you, I love you, I want to give you a hug, and please, can you take another sip? So I have to oblige. This one's really good. I like this one a lot. Okay, so of the three, the first one, the Continental. Was that the first one I did, the Continental? Yes. The Continental, I think, was the most complex of the three. Really gave you a lot of interesting flavors that came through on it. The tropical had a little more heat to it. I found it to be a little hotter than the other one. So if you're looking for smooth, I mean, honestly, if you're looking for a smooth tequila, none of these are going to really suit you, because all of these have so much interesting flavors to it, and they have a little bit of bite from the alcohol that's in there. But if you can take the bite and take the ride, I definitely recommend you doing it. None of these are going to be smooth, okay? So these are more for the aficionado, for the people that are really looking for the tequila to take you for a ride, because they do that. Lots of intricate flavors in there. The tropical had a little more heat and a little more fruitiness to it than the Continental did. And the Transatlantic was a nice blend of both of them. So it had some complex flavors in there, a little fruitiness to it. It wasn't as hot as the tropical was, but really lots of flavors and complexity to it. So of the three, if I had to say, okay, which one would I pick? I would definitely pick the Transatlantic as my favorite, with the complexity and all the different flavors and stuff that are in it. I like them all. I'm gonna give them all 5 agave because these guys are so different than anything you've ever tried before. I applaud Carlos Camarena. Thank you so much for making these for me because I know you did this especially for me because of how I love tequila and all the different flavors that it can provide. So I appreciate that. All right, so there you go. There's my review. If you guys have tried any of these expressions, comment below, let me know. What did you think of the review? Do any of these sound interesting to you? Which one sounds like it will be best suited for you? Comment below, let me know. Don't forget to give me a like for the information I shared, and more importantly, don't forget to subscribe. I've got an amazing video coming up as well for next week. You don't want to miss it. I've got some great information that's going to blow your mind, okay? So until next time, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila, so pick up 3 amazing ones, okay? Salud.